What's up, this is GM, and before I start, I want to tell you about TubeBuddy. In case you don't know, TubeBuddy is a free website that will help you manage and grow your YouTube channel. Thanks to them, some of my videos even show up as top results. Want to give them a try? Check the description below for the link. Today, we have the EPOMAKER RT100. This is a 95% retro mechanical keyboard, and let me tell you, this is so nice. I love the retro look, I love the feel of it, but we'll get more into that in a bit. In the box, we have our retro EPOMAKER RT100. It comes with this really interesting charging cable. It also works as the wired version of this keyboard, which just unclips right there, and I'm just gonna keep it clipped for now. It's actually rubber rather than braided, which I thought was interesting as well. And of course, it is just a USB-A to a USB-C end over here. I like that it's orange on the inside as well. But man, this was an interesting thing that I wasn't expecting. Then we have ourselves a keycap removal tool and a switch removal tool, which this one is a little bit on the tighter side as well for the keycap removal piece, which nothing wrong with that, just something I wanted to note. Here we have a screen. This screen can be attached to this keyboard, which I will show in a bit, connects via USB-C, and it's a very interesting piece of technology that we will go over in a bit. And then of course we have our manual. Now I'm gonna open this up. You guys pause if there's any information that you need from it, because I know people will misplace their manuals once in a while, or maybe you'll get ripped up. So it's nice to have this information if you ever need it. So make sure you pause, read it, and get whatever you need from it, because again, it can come in real handy if you ever lose your manual. Now let's talk about this keyboard. Keep in mind, link to the product is in the description below. The EPOMAKER RT100 is a 95% keyboard layout, so it is on the bigger side. It's gasket mounted, rotary multimedia knob, as you can see up here, RGB backlight mode, detachable smart monitor, which I showed earlier, and 3 modes of connectivity, Bluetooth 5.0, 2.4 gigahertz, and a USB-C wired option. Mine came with hot swappable sea salt silent switches, which I will show in another video when I show you how to remove the keycaps, in case you're ever wondering on how to do that. But just so you know, the sea salt silent switches are, like they meant, as they are called, very silent. They are probably more silent than your normal office keyboards are. It's really weird, but it just feels different, and it's really interesting, but in a weird, interesting type of way. Like, I like it, but it also is just so different than what I'm used to. Now, keep in mind, this knob up here, I don't think comes out. Like, I've tried pulling it out with some light pressure. It doesn't seem to come out, so don't try to pull it off if you can help it. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this beautiful keyboard. Up here, we have a switch to switch between Windows and Mac mode, a switch to turn it on and off. Up here, we have pretty much where the transmitter is. You just have to take off this little cover, pull off like that, and then you just pull this piece up, and here you have the receiver. And that will also reveal a port. So now you have 2 USB-C ports. This one is used for charging it and for using in wired mode. This one is used for connecting this little buddy here, and oops, just hit my entire recording apparatus. But this is for connecting our little screen here, which you would just plug in like so, and it has been plugged in. And I'll turn it on here in just a bit so you can see what that looks like. But keep in mind, it is slightly elevated, so don't put too much pressure back because you might break it. So just something to keep in mind. Now I'm gonna be a little bit careful as I turn it over. Here we have 4 pads, rubber pads, in its usual spot, plus a 5th one in the middle. It has 2 kickstand options, a small and then a large, both with their own rubber pads. And now I'm gonna flip it back over, trying to be careful not to break it. And there we go. So let's go ahead and turn this on, and you will see that we have our little screen here now. And I really do love this screen. And you can actually get it to display your own custom animations, your own custom images. It's really neat. And I think that's probably one of the coolest features about this little screen. And I'm trying to remember exactly which keys do that, because let me tell you, I have a lot of EPOMAKER keyboards now, and they all have slightly different functioning, so it's always hard to remember for me which ones are which, but let's see if I can remember. All right, so I went ahead and plugged it in, and as you can see, I put in my own custom logo here. Like I said, you can put in your own animations or whatever you want in here. It also shows you the date, the time, which I haven't fixed yet. It shows you the temperature and CPU of the computer itself, and it shows you whatever mode you're trying to connect to. It also shows you the battery life, which is all very useful info to have. So now I'm actually gonna unplug it just so it's not typing on my computer while we are messing around with the keys. But that is a really neat little thing to have up here. I'm gonna actually unplug it as well. And now let's focus on the keyboard itself. So let me go ahead and turn off my overhead light so you can see the coloring effects on this beautiful, beautiful keyboard. So to change the different modes, you hold function and you hit delete. And we're gonna kind of cycle through this pretty fast, but it has a lot of different lighting modes. A lot of these are pretty standard with most keyboards, so I'm sure you've seen these before. If you've seen any of my videos, you've definitely seen most of these lighting effects, but this should give you a pretty good idea of the different effects that it comes with, and you can customize which effects show up with the software it has as well. And then if you do function and page up, you can change it to a single color mode. And I'm just gonna cycle through those as well real quick. And then function page down will turn off the light, hit it again to turn it back on. Now let's go ahead and do a quick sound test. It will be a little difficult to do since this is, like I said, a silent, pretty silent. Obviously it's gonna have a little bit of noise, but it's silent compared to pretty much every keyboard I've ever used. But we will try our best to see how the sound sounds. I'm gonna have my lapel mic kind of close up to the keyboard, and let's see if it has any sounds. We're gonna start off with light taps, and then we'll do heavy taps. Light is to tell you how loose these keycaps are when it comes to fitting on the switches. Usually if they're very fitted, you won't really hear much noise at all, which shows that it's a very high quality build. Now, if there's a lot of noise, that probably means it's a cheaper build. If I press down hard, you're gonna hear the actual sound of the switches. So let's start off with the light taps. So overall, I felt like this keyboard is very silent. You may have heard a little bit of noise on the space bar, just on the edge here, but otherwise it is a very, very silent keyboard. Now let's do full on presses so you can get an idea. Can't do a full typing test, but I'll do my best first with just taps, and then I'll try to type out something with one hand. So I don't know if that really even got picked up, but it's so silent, which is really great for certain purposes. Now, if you're actually trying to get a silent keyboard for maybe office use or just so you don't bother your significant other when you're at home and playing games, this actually might be a really good choice. It also has a very tactile feel, so that's really amazing as well, because you also want to have that tactile feel when you're playing games. So overall, I think it is a great build, even if it is silent. So if you really like that clicky sound, maybe it's not meant for you. But overall, for gaming wise, this is great. We do have a little knob up here as well, which is pretty tactile. Let me go ahead and bring the lapel up to it as well. So you probably heard that as well. It also has its own RGB lights, which is pretty nice. Overall, I think this build is super great. When it came to using it in Valorant, I felt like I was doing really well. The keyboard itself is really well made, and I feel like I could use it properly. The only thing I wish was that the letters would light up as well. I feel like that would help because I play in a very dark room when I play at night. So even though it does have that really nice bright backlight mode, I really do wish that some lighting would come through the letters just to make it a little easier to see. But I do get that this is supposed to be a more retro look as well, so it makes sense that this is kind of how it looks as far as the layout is concerned. I would highly recommend this for anyone who's trying to get a nice gaming build, especially with this green option or any other color option that they have. I think it is a very unique and very fitting look that I think does amazing things. That's it for this video. Link to this product in the description below. If you found the video helpful, love it if you could leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave a comment below as well. Thank you for watching.